Okay, I'll have K-Log and since we're on TV, do I just not take breaks or what I do? Okay, sounds good. Just keep it rolling. Just keep it there. Just keep it rolling. And yeah, I'll take it along the scale. What should I do during the national anthem? Sounds good, brother. Okay, well, talk to you later. Call Karen Bordock. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, we're filming right now. I'll give you some understanding. We're just gonna have to work out breaks. Thanks, man. Yep. Okay. Welcome in. It is the game of the week brought to you by Ideal Home and Paint, bringing you the Dixie Flyers and the Snow Canyon Warriors, and what is a rematch of the last time these guys squared up a couple weeks ago, a 45-40 victory out at the hangar by the road team, Snow Canyon. Dixie looking for revenge here on the road tonight in the jungle. This is a packed house, one of the most full region games I've seen this year. The atmosphere is fantastic. It's going to be amazing. The number 1 RPI team versus the number 2. Number 1 being Snow Canyon, number 2 being Dixie. And of course, let's not forget the 2 best defensive teams in Region 10. We cannot forget to highlight the defense. Snow Canyon, the best defense in Utah 4A. Dixie at the top 2. We're in for an absolute barn burner tonight on ESPN 97.7 and CEC TV. Thanks for joining us here, and we look forward to bringing you a heck of a ball game. Let's jump right into it on our Ideal Home and Paint game of the week. Let's start with some keys to the game, brought to you by our friends over at Camping World. Jake, what do you got for both squads tonight?
Keys to the game tonight, Rustin. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to do 2 keys for each team. Then the third and final key for each team is actually the same key, so I'm going to say them together at the end. Starting with the Warriors of Snow Canyon. Keep up the defensive pressure. You average over 7 steals a game, and Dixie actually averages what I'm guessing is probably the least in the region. 8 turnovers a game. You got to get after it on the perimeter defensive-wise. Second key to the game for the Warriors. We know Simmons, we know Mackey, we know Hammer are going to be big time. Someone else has to make a key play late down the stretch. Who is that going to be? Is it going to be Will Warner? Maybe it's Caleb Anderson, Foreman. Someone else other than the big three has to step up for the Warriors.
That is absolutely true. Bowen Hammer, last time these two teams squared off against each other, he actually missed a good portion of the game, not due to injury, but struggling to find rhythm. He finished that game with 6 points, while Lyman Simmons led all Warriors. We know that Hammer is much more capable than 6 points, and on the season averaging about 15.4. I expect him to have a bounce-back game tonight, Jake.
Of course, another guy who kind of was off in that last matchup between the Flyers and the Warriors, Kyle Lemke. He only had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. For a guy of his standards, that was pretty low. But the keys to the game tonight for the Flyers, these first two, perimeter shooting. I think you stretch out that Snow Canyon defense, make it tough on them. Give Lemke, give Webb, give Barban some room inside to operate. And your second key, you need a good start. The Flyers, the games that I've called recently last 2 weeks, they've kind of got off a little sluggish, a little patient offensively against lesser teams in the region. This is Snow Canyon. You can't dork around in the first quarter and expect a comeback. This is the Warriors we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. Rough finish. Well, not rough finishes, fantastic finishes by Dixie against Pineview and Desert Hills, but they didn't want to be in that position in the first place. The double overtime win against Pineview and then the 1-point victory over Desert Hills. We know they're capable of more, and if there's any consolation, it's that the Flyers got back on their feet by going up to Cedar, taking on a red-hot Cedar Reds team, no pun intended there, and absolutely put the whooping on them. So Flyers may be back to form tonight. We'll see who kind of leads the way for this Dixie squad.
Of course, dude. I'm looking forward to this one. They just killed Cedar. They're looking like one of the best teams in region. I mean, Kyle Lemke in that game, 18 points. Jordan Roberts, 10 points. And, you know, Roberts has kind of been that guy to answer the call. Risco Brooks goes down early in the year. The question is, who's going to carry the guard spot? I know Grant Carter's done a nice job, and Jordan Roberts especially has answered that bell.
Yeah, Roberts has, and you talked about Lemke stepping up. Lemke has been fantastic the past couple games this season, scored 15-plus points in 4 of the last 5 games. He's really kind of taken on that scoring load. Roberts, like you mentioned, Jake, has stepped up in a big, big way for this Dixie team, and they're going to need him to be big again tonight if they're going to take down the #1 Snow Canyon Warriors. Taking the floor 20 times, lost once.
Incredible performance. As for the Flyers, I kind of think their recent games give them an advantage. Here's why. They've played a lot of close games.
Yeah.
And those tight game experiences really help you out later into the season. They did lose that game 71-70 a couple weeks back to Crimson Cliffs in overtime. But since then, they've had a lot of notable matchups. Double overtime win against Pineview. A close game I called with Double D. 39-38 your final score over Desert Hills. Dixie is going to need to be on their game tonight.
Dixie is going to have to be on top of it. The Flyers come into this matchup averaging 60 points a game, holding teams to 49.5. Snow Canyon on the flip, they average a little less, 59.1, and I mean a little less, but they hold teams more in check, 46.3. That is best, not in the region, but in the entire Utah 4A classification. And without Risco Brooks on the floor for the Flyers tonight, they continue to miss him. He's only played 8 games this season due to a pretty gnarly injury. It's Carter, it's Lemke. They're going to have to be big. And for Snow Canyon, you said it, it's Simmons who's been on a roll as of late. Bowen Hammer going to have a bounce-back game. I'm excited to see what Snow Canyon does here, because when you look at everything that they brought to the table, Lyman Simmons hasn't scored more than 20 points since December 30th. Who cares? Wow. He's as consistent as they come. He's 16, 17, 18 almost every single night. He does what he has to do and no more, because the rest of the Warriors step up around him.
You know, Rustin, I think it's probably going to be the night where Simmons gets back over 20-plus. He's going to need to. There's a big-time matchup inside. Rustin, this is kind of the final key I have. It's for both sides. I'm calling this the slugfest of the St. George Stilts. You got 6'8" Lemke, 6'9" Simmons. The big man who gets the job done and outplays the other big men is going to be the key tonight. This game, you know, I would say Lemke and Simmons right now are 1 and 2 in your Region 10 MVP rankings. Currently, this game might just swing the needle.
I'm excited to see what goes down tonight. Region 10, like Devin Dixon always says, expect the unexpected. Things can go any way. The Flyers, they're on a 3-game win streak, but the wins have been less than impressive per their standards, right? Snow Canyon, after losing to Cedar, they've been tearing everybody up. The Warriors coming off a game where they ended up blasting Desert Hills. They kind of took a big lead in the first half. They held Desert Hills to 10. Once again, best defensive squad ended up walking to victory there. Simmons had 12, Hammer 11. And you are listening to the Interior Design Center pregame show. Interior Design Center, making your house more of a home. See some of the stylish looks. And that was, you got any more Camping World keys to the game?
Nope, that's it.
That's the final, and I'm really looking forward seeing how it's going to go down. We're gearing up for our national anthem here, and I'm going to fill you in on a little secret for our radio audience. We currently, due to a mishap, do not have a board op in the studio, so we will not be going on break whatsoever. The only essential break, the national anthem. We're just going to let you listen in live on air as we deal with our national anthem, and then for the rest of it, until we get someone in the studio, we'll be kicking it all throughout. There's no such thing as timeouts. Me and Jacob bringing you hardcore analysis this entire game. We also have the Sky Mountain Golf Course starting lineups upcoming. The Intermountain Sports Medicine and Performance Star Watch. Actually, think about that right now for your Intermountain Sports Medicine Star Watch for Dixie and Snow Canyon. We highlighted Simmons. We highlighted Lemke. There's a lot of guys we have our eyes on. I don't know if Jake's going to have somebody different than those guys we talked a lot pregame, but I'm looking forward to it. We're going to take our national anthem here on TV. We can take a 2-minute break, make that 2 minutes 30 seconds, and then on the radio side, tune in and enjoy.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
For over a century, Dixie State University has been shaping the trailblazers of tomorrow by providing a culture of active learning, active life. With a paradigm of real-world experience mixed with cutting-edge technologies and rich traditions, we provide one of the most affordable educations in the West, set against the most stunning backdrop on the planet.
Where do you find the titans of classical music in St. George? Classical music on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM. Where do you find the legends of jazz? Evenings on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM.
Back here at Snow Canyon High School, the jungle as they like to call it, getting ready for Warriors and Flyers. Starting lineups being announced, brought to you by Sky Mountain Golf Course. Hit it to the sky at the beautiful Sky Mountain. Tee times out there in Hurricane, scheduled tomorrow, 435-635-7888. The lights are turning off here at the jungle. The student section is running in through the other side, and the energy is right here at Snow Canyon High School. While the Warriors are introduced on their home floor, Jacob, give us your Star Watch players of the game, brought to you by our friends at Intermountain Sports Medicine. Let's start with the away team, the Flyers.
Yeah, Rustin, for the Flyers, of course, we got to go with the man, Kyle Lemke. I'm shocked to see that Kyle Lemke is only a sophomore. Good news, Region 10 fans. He's going to be around a long, long time. Lemke, your best player on this Flyers squad since Brooks has gone down, averaging 16.8 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 1 block in Region 10 play. Kyle Lemke is going to have a great night tonight up against Lyman Simmons if the Flyers have a chance.
It's the big man, Kyle Lemke, your Star Watch player tonight for the Flyers. Keep an eye also on Roberts, Grant Carter, Kean Webb with his ability not only to block, but his ability to pass the basketball. He's a great high-to-low guy when it comes to finding the other big man in the post. He'll be a big part of Lemke having a big game. For the home team, the Warriors being introduced right now. Who do you got? You have a plethora to pick from: Simmons, Hammer, Mackey.
You know, I can't fool around with this one either. It's got to be Lyman Simmons, averaging 16 points, 7.5 boards, and nearly a block a game in Region 10 play. The 6'9" junior center, you know, he's had some dominant performances, but he's more really had just some efficient performances. I think tonight's the night he gets back over that 20-plus mark. He kind of gets back into that conversation, maybe says, hey, I am the Region 10 MVP.
I think you're absolutely right. Simmons has been a treat all year long, and so is this Flyers squad. Those Sky Mountain Golf Course starting lineups for the Dixie Flyers, first and foremost, getting the start tonight. Cam Dyer wearing number 11, normally a spark off the bench. His athleticism is unmatched. Next to Jordan Roberts, Kyle Lemke, Bronson Barbin, and Grant Carter. For the Warriors, it's going to be Bowen Hammer standing on the SC to tip. Will Warner, Caleb Anderson Foreman, Lyman Simmons, and the high-flying Owen Mackey. Watch Mackey versus Dyer tonight. We might get a couple slams between the two. Ball is up, crowd on its feet. Tip one by Snow Canyon. Caleb Anderson Foreman controls, and here come the Warriors with Will Warner. He's the team's leading assist man, about 4.1 a game. Doesn't score too much, about a little under 5, but what he brings to the defensive side of things and his ability to move the basketball is invaluable for the Snow Canyon squad. Warner gives it over to Owen Mackey. He's going to try to break down Carter. Goes off a Hammer screen, right corner. Back to Bowen Hammer. Hammer, little shimmy. Decides to give it back to Mackey. Anderson Foreman has it at the top of the key. Over to Will Warner. He'll set a pick. Warner off a Anderson Foreman pick. Over to Bowen Hammer. Thought about a long three. Bumps into Warner and has to slow the offense back up. Snow Canyon will try to reset. Simmons, sweeping move. Big man inside. Hangs, floats, hits. Lyman Simmons with the first bucket of the night.
And he took that right into the chest of Kyle Lemke. Has the height advantage there by an inch.
That gets us going. Dyer's jump shot is blocked. Caleb Anderson Foreman ends up in the hands of Barbin. Barbin skips it, wide open three, down the barrel for Jordan Roberts.
Jordan Roberts loves that left corner. I've seen him pull threes time and time again from that spot.
And for Jordan Roberts on the season, that's his 14th made threes, now 14 to 28. That's 50%. Anybody who's a 50% three-point shooter, they can take that shot any day. Lyman Simmons, top of the key. His team trails by 1. Simmons will pull for 3, and that's down the barrel. Lyman Simmons with a Team D auto triple to answer Roberts on the other end.
I got a great feeling about this ball game, Rustin. Back and forth, even early in the first quarter.
Barbin pump fake to 3 for himself, won't take it. The star quarterback swings it to Carter, to Dyer, over to Roberts. Roberts fakes with the left, ends up going inside to Lemke. Lemke waits for Carter to cut. Hammer came down, tried to help. He'll have to kick it back out to Dyer up top. Anderson Foreman over to Carter. Carter, left-hand dribble. The lefty shakes inside, knocks down Anderson Foreman. No call, and the rebound, too strong, goes to Simmons. Mackey has it. Anderson Foreman a little slow to get up. Finally jogs back down the floor. Hammer, pump fakes, gets Dyer to lift a little. Dyer able to recover. Back up to Mackey up top, and Snow Canyon will reset. Will Warner, left-hand dribble, backs up near the half-court line. Hammer will set a pick as Warner goes with the right hand over to Owen Mackey. Mackey continues to keep the ball moving. There is no current post right now in this offense. No big man with Simmons out up top. Simmons thought about setting a pick, instead will dive down against Lemke. Barbin is kind of hanging off Anderson Foreman to help. Owen Mackey, step back 3. Too strong off the back iron, nearly hit the top of it. It's going to stay clean as Roberts controls for the Flyers. 5-3. Snow Canyon on top. Roberts inside. Beautiful find to Lemke, and he's swatted. Owen Mackey got him from behind. What a block. And on the other end, Mackey for 3. Got it! Owen Mackey making things happen.
Great concentration there in the post to track down Lemke from behind and pull up right into that stride 3.
That was Mackey's first bucket of the night, coming off his first block of the night with 4 minutes, 55 seconds on the Nets on 5 o'clock. Barbin inside, tucked that ball like a football, and he's done that a time or two. Got the bucket to go, but the official says it's on the floor.
He sure has. We've seen Barbin tuck a ball into his elbow like that before.
Both on the basketball court and the football field. Barbin pump fakes inside. He'll take a 3, and that one tickles the twine. We're on fire here at the Jungle, Jake.
This is magical, Rustin. I don't know what it is. They just know this is probably the Region 10 matchup of the year.
Snow Canyon averages about 59 a game. Dixie about 60. Already off to a hot start, 8-6. Home team on top with possession. Mackey had Hammer on one side, Anderson Foreman on the other, goes off the Anderson Foreman screen. Over to Simmons. Simmons to Anderson Foreman, who rolled inside, can't get it to go. Hammer tried to come back over for the putback. Instead, he gets called for over the back.
I thought we were nearly going to see an offensive basket interference here in St. George High School hoops. That time an offensive foul, though.
Cam Dyer out on the floor, starting for this Dixie Flyers unit. Kean Webb, typical starter on the floor. Roberts stops, pulls, mid-range jumper. Looked like there might have been slight contact, not enough for a call, as that shot careens off the back iron. Snow Canyon with the lead and the ball. Hammer in the corner, picked up by Dyer. Dyer reached inside, poked it away. Dixie still, and Cam Dyer's going to try to push the pace against Hammer. Gets his back turned to him, ended up picking up the ball and moving his foot. Travel, turnover. Cam Dyer had a great steal and gave it back.
Dyer was a defensive beast in the last matchup between these two teams with 3 blocks to go along with 14 points. As Garnet started off to a pretty good defensive start, but he knew he traveled that time. He shook his head, yeah, with the call.
Yeah, I wanted to argue first and then said, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Dyer, a fantastic athlete, now having to guard Morrison on the other end, who just checked in. Simmons in the post, double team. Bourbon drops back, leaving Lemke alone, forces it to give it back to Morrison. Warner up top, over to Owen Mackey, off an Anderson Foreman screen. Anderson Foreman had the roll, but Mackey lost the ball into the hands of Lemke, and now Roberts will push. Roberts right-hand dribble, goes off a screen. He's picked up by 2 Warriors, gives it to Dyer, who gives it back, and Dixie will set up the offense. Coach Roberts gives the call over on the sideline as Jordan Roberts dribbles back with the left hand. Coming off a pick is Bronson Barbin. Barbin inside, trying to feed the big man. Lemke against Simmons. Let's see if he goes up with it. Nah, good straight-up defense from Simmons. Lemke's going to have to kick it back out up top to that green SC where Roberts stands. Dixie wearing blue, white trim, Flyers on the right side of their shorts. Dyer between the legs, trying to break down Morrison. Some fancy dribbling, able to get in the paint, gives it to Carter. Carter's 3, nearly blocked, forced him to give it up, and Dyer comes up with it. Risky play there, but Dixie lives on. Roberts controls. He's going to try to break down Warner inside. Fakes with the right hand. Gives it to Carter for 3. That one off the front iron. Good look for Grant Carter, but Snow Canyon with the rebound.
It's going to be one of those Flyer possessions they look back and probably regret.
Anderson Foreman. Barbin gives him plenty of room at the 3-point line. He's only hit 2 this year. He's also only attempted 7. Mackey, what happened there? He was left all alone. Mid-range jumper up and in, and Owen Mackey's up to 5.
I'll tell you what happened. Behind the back, step back, pull up mid-range from Mackey.
Dixie tried to force it inside to the big man. Mackey came over to help, knocked out of bounds. We get a great look at it here, courtesy of CEC TV, bringing us all the right angles tonight. Appreciate them and all they do. You're listening on ESPN 97.7. Good help from Mackey. And if you're a Warriors perimeter player right now, you have to be aware of all times when the Flyers go to look into the post. It's a given. Carter gets the ball up top as the Flyers work their inbound play. Nothing there. Roberts will now control, and the Flyers will pull things out and start over. Brecken Robinson in the game for the first time. Walker Morrison picks him up. Morrison runs over Roberts, and judging by what the official's saying, it's going to stay right here. Roberts was set. Morrison plowed through him. Let's see. Yeah, good look on the replay there. Roberts wasn't moving, wasn't sliding.
Roberts typically not the guy to set a screen for the Flyers, but if you're going to get a call like that, it'll work.
And Morrison is a bigger-bodied perimeter player. Has great athleticism, great size, and great contestability. Lemke gets it inside one-on-one against Simmons. Instead, Morrison comes down, gets his hand caught in the cookie jar, and I think Walker's going to pick up 2 quick ones off the bench.
Yeah, that's probably the right call. You can only put your hand in the post so far, in the cookie jar, as you just called it.
Grant Carter, 3-pointer off the inbound. Had a great look, and it goes down. Team D triple off the hands of Grant Carter.
Grant Carter has the ability, along with Jordan Roberts, to pull it from distance. That's why I said perimeter shooting is a key to the game for him.
How about this so far? Dixie on the year is a 34% three-point team. All their points have been three-pointers as Lyman Simmons goes to work in the post on the other end and kisses it off the glass. He's got 7. Carter pulling for 3 on the other end. Got it to go, and he's heating up.
He is feeling it. The crowd is going back and forth. One side roaring, the other side quiet. I love it.
12-12 is the score on our We Win Injury Law scoreboard. Hamlin, who's just checked in the game, takes a dribble with the right hand over to Walker Morrison. Morrison, he's going to go strong, able to get past the defense. No one there to contest, and Walker Morrison lays it up and in. defensive breakdown there?
Yeah, someone's got to step up. Barbin, Lemke, someone's got to be there.
Barbin pump fakes, dribbles right hand, goes between the legs. He's waiting for Roberts to come off a pick. Morrison screaming for an offensive or a moving screen there. Morrison doing all he can to keep fighting over some tough Dixie screens. Barbin out the ball, had Lemke in the post, didn't give it to him. They're still trying to find Kyle Lemke down on the block. It's hard to do so against this Warriors defense that keeps moving perimeter players. Carter up against Owen Mackey, left-hand dribble, and Carter, as he went inside, tried to kick to Roberts, misread where he was going, out of bounds, turnover Dixie.
That's unfortunate. Spacing is huge in the 2020s in basketball. That time Roberts thought he would kind of slide over, get some space away for Carter, but Carter was passing, so kind of slid right away from that pass.
And for the Flyers, that's at least their second turnover. They had to travel. Carter threw that one out of bounds. 14-12, Warriors on top, and they will have an opportunity for the last shot here in the first quarter. Mackey with it, trying to lob it inside to Hammer on a cut. Dyer did a great job of stepping down on the baseline and preventing Bowen Hammer from coming in for the alley-oop slam. He was never really able to leave his feet.
That one looked on target for a sec. I thought that might go in Manu Ginobili style.
Now with 12 seconds, Brecken Robinson has it. Flyers can either take the lead or tie here in the first quarter. Roberts fakes to the left. He runs into a double team with Hamlin and Warner. Roberts nearly losing the ball. He's in a tough spot, has to get rid of it to Brecken Robinson. Robinson will pull and nearly got it off the backboard. Won't go, and that's the end of the first quarter, 14-12. And because of our situation, Jake, we're not going to break right now. No way whatsoever. Let's talk about that first quarter. 14-12, high scoring all the way through. Grant Carter had 2 triples for the Flyers. Bronson Barbin had a 3. Roberts had a 3. Every single Flyer bucket was a 3-pointer in the first quarter. I'd be willing to bet that hasn't happened this year.
I think you're exactly right, Rustin. You know, there's a reason I said not only perimeter shooting, and first quarter buckets are going to be huge for the Flyers, because I know this team. I'm a little familiar with them, called a couple games for them recently. They recognize the Warriors are no joke. They have to get out to a hot start. They did that, but the Warriors have responded tremendously. They've defended Lemke inside, made it really tough. It's not really Lemke's fault that he hasn't scored. That's just how good the defense has been.
It is, and the Flyers came into this game a 34% three-point shooting team. And all their points, their 12 points, have come from beyond the arc, Team D auto triples. And for the hometown Warriors, man, they've been as balanced as can be. It was Lyman Simmons who got off to the hard start. He finishes the first quarter alone with just about, I think Simmons ended up with 7 points in that quarter. Owen Mackey had 5 after a big block. He sunk a triple, and Walker Morrison had 2. Second quarter is going, and are you telling me we got a board op back in the studio?
We got Double D.
That's not a board op, but he's gonna get her done tonight. We appreciate him going out of his way to get to the studio so we can bring you Region 10 basketball. Red Rock Real Estate also helps bring you Region 10 basketball. Brecken Robinson's 3 is short, gets his own Red Rock Real Estate rebound, nearly got the putback. Instead, it goes into the hands of Owen Mackey. Mackey with the 2-point lead, inside to Simmons. Simmons picks it up high, goes out to Bowen Hammer. His first 3 of the night is down, and the 3-point palooza continues. Lemke beats everyone down the floor on the other end. Simmons gets back to him, blocks it, out of bounds it goes, and the defensive effort by Simmons prevails.
How about that, Russ? And that's 3 signatures right there. Hammer with the wing 3, Lemke running the court, and Simmons with the block.
There's so much going on in this game. Off the inbound, Grant Carter had a good look, left-hand layup, his strong hand. It will not go, and on the scrap for the ball afterwards, we have a foul on the floor. They're going to give that to Cam Dyer.
It looks like Robinson's going to check out.
Yeah, Robinson headed back to the bench. Flyers currently rolling with Barbin, Roberts, Dyer, Lemke, and Carter on the offensive end. It's Warner giving it to Mackey, Anderson, Foreman, Bowen, Hammer, and Simmons down on the block. Warner controlling up top, right-hand dribble, picks it up, gives it to Hammer, coming off a 3, and Anderson Foreman hits the deck. And the reason he did so is because he had the big body Cam Dyer running right through him. That's 2 quick ones on Dyer. Walker Morrison checked in, got 2 quick fouls, and now Cam Dyer 2 quick fouls with 7 minutes, 1 second on the Nets on fire clock here in the second quarter.
I think Dixie has the depth to where even if one of their key wings or key guys inside gets in foul trouble, they got a guy on the bench who can fill that spot.
They absolutely do. Depth is key. Warner over to Owen Mackey. Mackey, his second three of the night. Pure shooting form, and it goes down.
I thought this was going to be the battle of the stilts inside. So far, it's been the Owen Mackey show.
Owen Mackey now with 8 points on the night for the Warriors. Dyer trying to get something going against Anderson Foreman. Anderson Foreman does a good job staying in front. Roberts off a screen, pulls up for three, and Jordan Roberts with his second three of the night. A 50% three-point shooter coming out strong.
Wow, I have not seen a reach in 10 game all year long where both sides have let it fly from distance like this.
And the Warriors on the other end try to do a little bit of a Dixie high-low move. Anderson Foreman in the high post tried to give it inside to Simmons, knocked away by Barbin. Good front from number 13. Warriors will inbound. They're up 20-15. Warner looking for his guy, kind of gets in the air. Tough pass. Owen Mackey with maybe the assist of the year. He didn't come down. He touch passed it inside, and Anderson Foreman completes the lay-in.
Holy cow, Owen Mackey recognized, didn't have the vert to grab that in, instead tip pass beautifully.
That's a weird thing to say. Owen Mackey didn't have the vert. Right there, he was on his way down. Touch pass to his teammate, Caleb Anderson Foreman. What a move, and it's got the Warriors up 7. Let's see how Dixie responds. Grant Carter inside amongst the trees, gives it to Roberts. Coach Meacham in the Snow Canyon bench wanted to travel. Roberts tries to put his shoulder down, get inside. Shot too strong off the rim, and now Will Warner will push. Warriors trying to extend. Anderson Foreman got in the corner, back to Will Warner. Now Lyman Simmons. He already has 1-3 tonight. It makes Lemke suck up on him a little bit. Bowen Hammer now has it, back to Anderson Foreman. Over to Mackey. Mackey, another three on the way. That one too far to the left and no good, but he's making this Dixie defense pay attention to him right now, Jake.
And I know that was a miss, but you can't have Anderson Foreman at the top along with Mackey and only one defender in Jordan Roberts. Your shortest flyer out there defending two guys. Can't have that happen.
Carter with the ball, clutches it with two hands, swings over to Dyer. Roberts now has it, looking at Will Warner. Grant Carter had a good cut inside. They didn't find him. Ball still continues to rock around the perimeter. Barbin sets his feet for three. That one's short, kind of an awkward shooting motion. I don't think he was fully set. I retract my statement when I said sets his feet for three. Roberts back to Carter off an offensive rebound. Barbin can get inside, ball fakes. Lyman Simmons, his second block of the night, and then Barbin fouls him from behind afterwards. And for Simmons, we rave about his offensive ability all the time, right? It's common. But what he does defensively and how he impacts the game from there, just by being as big as he is, I don't think you can avoid it.
One word made that play there, Rustin. Patience.
Yes.
A lot of times 6'9" guys want to go for every shot. Pump fake does not work against Lyman.
There are teams in Region 10 who will jump out of the gym at the slightest fake. Simmons and Snow Canyon, really, for that matter, they're not one of those squads. Will Warner, top of the key, back to Bowen Hammer. Hammer can make it from there. He can shoot from there. Dyer picks him up. Inside Simmons. Simmons is going to have a one-on-one opportunity against Lemke. Takes him off the baseline. Pump fakes. Lemke jumps up and under. There's that patience again, Jake.
Oh, my goodness. How do you stop that? That time not fooling for the pump fake, and he pulls it on the other end.
9-point ball game. Warriors' largest lead of the night. Carter left hand inside, off the glass, solid move, using his body to shield and using the left to finish.
Dixie sure needed that. They've had a so far solid offensive outing. They need to get it together defensively. And speaking of that, Dyer with the block.
Big block from Cam Dyer as Will Warner tried to get inside with the left hand. Didn't work, and now Dyer dribbles with the right hand. He's going to be bumped and fouled as he tried to attack. Big block from Dyer, and Dixie needs some defensive stops right now. Snow Canyon feeling pretty confident on the offensive end after Lyman Simmons did a little shimmy shake move and took Lemke off the dribble. Pump fake, got him in the air. That was a great word to describe it, Jake. Patience is definitely key with number 32. 24-17. Grant Carter swings it over to Jordan Roberts. Roberts tries to break past Warner. Warner nearly got a steal. Dyer on the pass. Almost lost it, and the Snow Canyon bench screaming he stepped out of bounds. No call. Dyer will continue to push. His pull-up jumper, no good, but I think we had a foul before Dyer attempted that shot.
It's maybe one of the few rare mistakes, if you could even call that, for Anderson Foreman tonight. He's been crashing the glass hard. His hops, Mackey's hops, boy, Snow Canyon can jump out the gym.
Anderson Foreman's worked himself in the starting role. He now has 2 fouls. thus far. Carter over to his pass to Barbin, nearly batted away by Hammer. Barbin able to come up with it. Dyer now in the corner. They're still looking for Lemke. Lemke's posting up Simmons. You know he's supposed to be a part of the offense right now. They just don't feel fully comfortable getting it to him. Carter looks inside. Finally, Lemke gets it on the block. Lemke trying to go up against Simmons one-on-one. Little right-hand push shot, too strong. Simmons with the rebound, keeps it up high, and no one's going to grab that. Snow Canyon will try to extend their 7-point lead. Warner gets it up from Bowen Hammer as we have a foul away from the basketball. Lemke and Simmons, this is the battle we all paid for, right?
Oh, yeah.
You paid for this, didn't you?
Nope, I got the press pass.
This is the battle we all came to see, and right now on full display, it's heated. I mean, the atmosphere here is fantastic. It's not heated in the sense of it's dirty and there's some mischievous stuff going on. It's just very competitive basketball. Inbound, Lyman Simmons, baseline J won't go. Good look, gets his own rebound. Grant Carter sneaks in to steal it away. Here come the Flyers off the Carter steal. Carter, hesitation move. Up top, will back it back out. Over to Jordan Roberts, who's had 2 triples go down for him tonight. He'll back things back out. 2 minutes, 37 seconds on the Nets on Fire clock. Barbin dribbles, has to pick it up, back over to Roberts. Lemke still calling for it. He now navigates to the high post, sets a screen, and he's ran into by Bryson Baker, who just checked into the ball game for the first time tonight for Snow Canyon. Barker will be whistled for his first personal.
That's sure tough to defend. You know Cam Dyer loves to go full speed around those Lemke screens, but you can't stick with Lemke either. That's a double-ended sword right there.
Yeah, and for Baker, he just checked in the ball game, just kind of put his shoulder down. I mean, you're taught to fight through screens, right? But where is that level of aggression that fits? Doesn't matter, as the first Fabulous Freddy's free throw of the night from Lemke is no good. Have we seen any other free throws tonight?
I don't think so, Rustin.
I don't think we've had a shooting foul up to this moment. We've had some big blocks. I don't recall a shooting foul.
I'm glad the refs have let him play, though.
They have. 7 personals for Snow Canyon, 4 for Dixie. 24-17 is the score. Warriors on top. Baker gets the ball over in the corner, gives it back to Warner, back to Bowen Hammer. Mackey at the high post, out to Baker. Baker open look for 3. That one doesn't touch rim, well over the top. It was a great look. Just didn't go down.
Yeah, great play to get Mackey in open space. Jump pass right to the corner. Poor execution.
Off that ball movement, Roberts inside. He's bumped, hits the court. No call, and Simmons now controls. Simmons, like Jokic, pushes the pace to Will Warner, and Warner's 3. Another good look for Snow Canyon. Won't go. Warner fights for the rebound. Back to Mackey. Mackey pump fakes a 3, and the Warriors live on. We've seen Jordan Roberts get his own miss tonight. We've seen Brecken Robinson do it. We've seen Will Warner do it right here. We've seen Simmons do it. The hustle tonight on full display for both these teams. As Baker has it up top, being guarded by Dyer. Back to Mackey, and Snow Canyon's going to slow things up here. They control a 24-17 lead. Warner left-hand dribble back over to Baker. Baker to Mackey. Corner 3 from Hammer off a screen. That one a little too strong as well. Dixie with the rebound.
Maybe there's a particular spot that the Warriors should be practicing from range.
Yeah, it's the same spot both times from Baker and Hammer that have went well over the rim. Now, I don't think that's a practice issue. I think there's a breeze there, Jake. That's what you say. Dyer swings over to Grant Carter. Carter to Roberts. Dixie trying to cut into this lead before half. 35 seconds, 34 seconds. Clock continues to tick. Carter inside, little left-hand push shot. Beautiful move, won't go. And Will Warner corrals the rebound. He'll give it to Mackey. Mackey stops with the left hand. Will pop it back out to Warner. Warner will get the call from Coach Meacham. And now over to Mackey, 16-15. It's safe to say Snow Canyon will probably hold for the last shot. 24-17 is the score. Snow Canyon looking to extend that. Warner, left-hand dribble, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. They got to get moving. Warner not even attacking. Warner takes one dribble, steps up, and hits Will Warner. I don't think he knew the clock was there. I don't think he had that little time. He was almost forced into a shot, and he knocked it down. Team D triple from Will Warner.
You know, maybe he was just pretending that he didn't realize what the clock was to fool the Flyers and hit the 3.
Whatever it was, it worked. That's going to take us to half, and off Warner's 3, it's a 10-point lead for Snow Canyon. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout and be back with our InfoWest halftime show, fastest internet in southern Utah. 2-minute break. We'll be back with the halftime show.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Shopping sprees, sip my ties and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Sun's gonna shine on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight for your halftime entertainment, your Snow Canyon cheerleaders will be performing their freestyle routine in which they hold the 4A state championship title.
It's the InfoWest halftime show. Rustin Burnside, Jacob Zimmerman, ESPN 97.7, CEC TV, helping us bring you all Region 10 action. Other games going on tonight in Region 10 play. Crimson Cliffs is on the road at Pineview. That game over on KDXU 92.5. Desert Hills is at Hurricane. And we'll try to get you some Hearst Ace Hardware Region 10 updates on that. But first here, the situation at hand, Jake. A fantastic first half from the Snow Canyon Warriors. The reality of it is this. Dixie was on fire from beyond the arc. All 12 of their points on the first quarter were from three-point land, right? How does Snow Canyon end up turning that into a 5-point quarter for the Flyers and really propelling themselves to this 10-point lead?
The recipe to do that, Russ, and what they've been cooking up in there is having Simmons just totally lock down Lemke inside. Not only that, but often Hammer is the help defender on that same side that Lemke's on with Simmons right there. So it's really hard once Lemke actually catches the ball in the post. The only move he can really kind of do is away from the basket, kind of like fadeaway-esque. That's all that the Warriors are giving to him. They are shooting well from outside like I told them they needed to do in the Camping World Keys to the game. But Rustin, it's not even worked.
There's only you can only go so long from beyond the arc, right? Unless it's just your night for all 4 quarters. There will always be a quarter where that shot does not fall the same way. And I think Dixie's had to go back to getting inside with Roberts and Carter. And they've had good looks inside. They just haven't had that finesse because Simmons is able to get there and bother it just a little bit. Speaking of these guys, let's jump into our Wilkinson statistics, where since 1946, Wilkinson's House of Lighting has been a fan of all Southern Utah sports. Lights, fans, fixtures, contractors, and homeowners always welcome at Wilkinson's. Looking at those stats for the Dixie Flyers on the road, down by 10 at half. They are led by Grant Carter, who has 8. Had some solid looks inside, had 2 threes go down in the first quarter. He sits at 8. Jordan Roberts, 2 triples tonight as well, currently at 6. Bronson Barbin, a 3 of his own as well. And those are the only 3 Flyers who have been on the board so far, Jake. Just 3 guys, and you know that's going to change in the second half. Cam Dyer's not going to stay scoreless. You know for a fact that won't be the situation. But and Lemke, big fat 0. I think that's the main talking point of this whole situation.
Wow. Wow, I dubbed this, Rustin, what do they call this? The Battle of the St. George Stilt, something like that.
Yeah, I love it.
So far, it's just been one stilt. It's just been Simmons out there. He's put together maybe one of the best halves we've seen him all year long. Inside, even setting screens on the outside, this guy's getting it done. Lemke loves to run the floor, but the difference is that the Warriors are not letting him. If he does catch it, someone's right there from behind. We saw a play. Owen Mackey tracked down Lemke from behind, had a perfect block, led right to a 3 in transition, and I think that play has kind of just been this game in a nutshell.
Getting it done all over the floor, defensively, offensively. Remember, Warriors #1 defense in Utah 4A. They are led tonight by Lyman Simmons with 9 points, has 1 3. Owen Mackey, 2 triples, 8 points total, got inside as well. Bowen Hammer has only taken 2 shots. He's 1 of 2 from beyond the arc. He sits at 3 points. Will Warner has a 3 of his own to beat the buzzer, and Walker Morrison and Caleb Anderson Foreman with 2.
That would probably be my main takeaway from the first half, is that Dixie had a really hot perimeter shooting first quarter. Bowen Hammer really has been quiet this entire game, and Dixie's still down 10.
I believe we got some highlights to roll, Jake. Let's get a look at those.
We sure do.
So we can, well, just retrace what a fantastic first half that was.
You're waiting for these highlights to come on in.
And here they are, the first little bit of the game. Lyman Simmons going to work, first points of the game, using that big frame to get inside and finish strong. That was followed by Jordan Roberts hitting a big 3. This will be the start to Dixie's hot shooting in the first quarter.
Of course, then back on the other end, the Warriors. Simmons, why not, has been dominating inside and outside with a 3 there.
Inside, Lemke swatted away from behind, probably a defensive play of the year. Not only did he get the swat, but rising up on the other end and knocking down the 3 was Owen Mackey.
Then on the other side, Barbin gets the inbound, hesitates for a sec with a jab step, then pulls it from the right wing from deep.
You love the aggressiveness there from Barbin. It was Grant Carter on the other side, ends up getting his first 3 of the night. He was feeling it. Next time down the floor, pulled up off a pick and knocked it down.
Yeah, Grant Carter can get hot here. We have an open layup on the other end. That one good from Morrison.
Snow Canyon brigade of 3s will continue to fall. Owen Mackey with his second of the night from the left side of the floor, coming off a beautiful, clean, crisp pass. And Jordan Roberts, most of Dixie's 3s have been pull-ups off of screens from their big man. Roberts does it there.
That's really impressive. You'd like to see them get an easier shot selection, but speaking of easy shot selection, beautiful tip pass from Mackey right to Anderson Foreman, and then later in the game, inside, tough up and under move from Simmons.
Simmons been great all night long, leads all scorers as Will Warner's shot goes down at the end of the second quarter. Looked like he was running out of time. Well, he fooled us all. Takes one dribble to the right, pulls up, and hits. And before we get back with the third quarter, we're going to take a 2-minute timeout. Be back with more action. We still need to get you some Hearst Ace Hardware Region 10 updates. We'll be back after 2.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
For over a century, Dixie State University has been shaping the trailblazers of tomorrow by providing a culture of active learning, active life. With a paradigm of real-world experience mixed with cutting-edge technologies and rich traditions, We provide one of the most affordable educations in the West, set against the most stunning backdrop on the planet.
Where do you find the titans of classical music in St. George? Classical music on Radio St. George 100.3 FM. Where do you find the legends of jazz? Evenings on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Let's paint the picture here at Snow Canyon for you on the radio side of things. CEC-TV doing a great job capturing it. But for those of you tuned in on ESPN 97.7, we're at standing room only, Jake. Fans standing around the track to get a view of this game, a game in which so far Snow Canyon has jumped out to a double-digit lead off a three from Will Warner right before the end of the second quarter. And what was a spectacular play. The Warriors have been doing it everywhere tonight. 10-point lead right now, courtesy not only of the offense working, but also because of the defense. Number one defensive team in, not Region 10, but Utah 4A for a reason, and they've really shown it tonight.
Russ and I love these matchups. Both high schools from St. George, both teams at the top of those RPI standings for 4A in the state of Utah. And, you know, when that goes down, you know, everybody in St. George is going to be here. Blue to our left, white to our right, and you said it. Everybody is crowded around. There really is no seat in the house.
Well, look at these teams and how even they are. Dixie scores about 60, Snow Canyon about 59. Dixie gives up 49, Snow Canyon gives up 46. Top two defensive teams in Utah 4A, number one and number two in the RPI, number one and number two in Region 10. I think that speaks volumes to the type of gladiators we're seeing on the floor tonight. And also, they're not the only ones playing in Region 10. Hearst Ace Hardware Region 10 updates. Check out all the hot buys at Hearst Ace Hardware every single month, located in the heart of St. George. You can also find them in Cedar City, open 7 days a week. It looks like what we know so far into the first quarter, Desert Hills leads 10-8 over Hurricane out there in the Tigers' Den. And we also know that Crimson was protecting a 19-17 lead in their game against Pineview. They're out there at the pit taking on the Panthers. And here at Snow Canyon, 27-17 is the score as the clock officially turns back on. We're playing third quarter basketball here in the jungle. Snow Canyon gets the ball to start this half with a 10-point lead. Caleb Anderson Foreman swings it around up top. Over to Bowen Hammer, who pump fakes a three. Owen Mackey now has it right hand, gives it over to Lyman Simmons. Left hand dribble back to Anderson Foreman. Mackey cut inside, doesn't get it. Tried to post up Carter instead. Bowen Hammer controls. Bowen Hammer, little step back three. Got it to go. Was that a three or do they call it a two? It's a two.
Looks like a foot may have been on the line there, Rusty. But if Mackey's going to heat up here in the third quarter, forget it, Flyers.
And for Bowen Hammer, that's only his second bucket of the night, now sitting at 5. Good aggressive move, and Lemke, he finally gets into the scoring column by putting the left shoulder into Simmons, going up with the right hand and finishing.
Yeah, it took almost 17 minutes, but you'll take it. Kyle with his first basket of the game right in the chest of Simmons.
Mackey using that speed, tried to get around the corner. Grant Carter does a good job staying in front. Warner now has it on the side. Simmons gets it up top, took a dribble, picked it up, had to give it away to Owen Mackey. They'll try to pull Simmons or Mackey inside, and when that doesn't work, Bowen Hammer kind of forced to create his own magic up top as Warner gets deep inside. Good attack. Ended up losing the basketball out of bounds, though.
Yeah, Will Warner thought he got it poked out from behind by Barb, and the ref saw it differently.
Jordan Roberts trots into the front court. Goes off a Barbin screen, and will pitch it to Carter. Inside to Lemke. Lemke had his first points of the game just a moment ago. Instead of taking it with the left hand, he'll give it out to Roberts. Sets the pick. Lemke now on the roll. Instead of going his direction, they go to Dyer in the corner. Dyer dribbles inside. Beautiful find to Lemke, and he's rejected by Simmons. He thought he had room. Simmons erased it real quick. Dixie controls the ball afterwards. Mackey pokes Roberts' pass into the air. Comes up with it. Warriors want to push. Mackey slows things down, gives to Simmons. Simmons nearly lost the ball and doesn't get a clean shot off. Dyer with the contest, and now the Flyers push it the other direction, and Grant Carter with the lay-in. He beat everybody down the floor.
Crazy back and forth sequence on the other end. Simmons kind of got hacked, no call. Tried to finish between two Flyers.
Tons of energy in the third quarter, 29-21. Simmons find into Mackey, can't get it to go. Tough shot. Anderson Foreman came off the perimeter to get the rebound and then was fouled. Good off-ball movement from Snow Canyon.
Russ, so we haven't even had time to go back to that play 30 seconds ago. That might be the block of the day. Simmons coming out of nowhere, rejecting right at the rim. Lemke.
Foul's going to be on Bronson Barvin. Get a good look of it on that replay. CEC TV providing all the action tonight. Caleb Anderson Foreman will be at the line. Well, he thought he was going to be at the line. Coach Meacham arguing with the officials, and normally that doesn't ever work. 21-17 lead for Crimson Cliffs over Pineview at halftime out there. That game on KDXU 92.5. No free throws for Anderson Foreman, but Warriors will have the ball. Inbound to Anderson Foreman, poked away by Bronson Barvin. And Snow Canyon will now inbound from the other side of the floor.
Right now, Will Warner's got to kind of create some space in front of those cheerleaders to throw it in.
Hammer gets it off the inbound. Mackey up top. Simmons kind of squatted himself down in the paint mid-post. Didn't get it. Now Mackey running the high post. Out to Bowen Hammer. Fakes with the left. Swings it across to Anderson Foreman, who touches it to Simmons. Simmons' jumper looked good, no good, too strong, and now Carter trying to outrun everybody down the floor. Simmons nearly got back, but not in time. Grant Carter with a nice lay-in.
That's a tough layup from Grant, flying down the court. Knew Simmons was tracking, and he wasn't strong on it either.
Carter, that was his second layup of the game where he beat everyone down the floor. Dyer for three on the other end, won't get it to go, and that was coming off of a missed three from Anderson Foreman. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Flyers.
Rustin, it's only a 6-point game now. You can feel the crowd start to swing.
Dixie done a good job. It's not as if anything insane has happened. They're just slowly working their way back. Lemke, a tough right-hand hook shot up and in, and he's been blocked by Simmons a couple times. You have to have a certain amount of bravado to say, I'm going back at you again, big guy.
Yeah, and look at Lemke on the sideline, chest bumping every one of his teammates and coaches on the way to the bench.
30-second timeout. We'll take it with him. Scott Gibson here at Cap Lending. Timeout, 30 seconds.
I have a backpack.
请所有的同学回到座位哈。3、
Get our print career. And there's the bottom. Does this one have more water?
It's now a 4-point game thanks to the efforts of Grant Carter and Kyle Lemke. They both have 8 points altogether, cutting it to 29-25. We'll see how the Warriors respond off the timeout. Mackey had the ball poked away, lets it go out of bounds. They'll stay with Snow Canyon as Mackey tried to back his man down.
Dixie's definitely make some defensive switches. They've really done a good job of keeping Simmons outside of the paint and turn him into a jump shooter.
Bowen Hammers picked up by Cam Dyer, gives it back to Anderson Foreman. Warner now controls off of Anderson Foreman's screen. Anderson Foreman rolls, Every so often, defenses will forget about that rolling man as Foreman tried to force it inside. It made for easy pickings on the Dixie defense. And right now, all momentum has shifted to the team in blue.
Would have been a nice sneaky little backdoor pass, but maybe should have gone with a safe one given the momentum.
Yeah, you like the look, you like the approach, but in a tight game like this, it's those type of things that can come back to haunt you. Dixie trying to make it a one-possession game. Carter on the corner off of Roberts' pass, left-hand dribble, search dribble, finding something he wants, and Owen Mackey skied high to send that out with the left hand. That was not just a block, that was a volleyball swat.
Disgusting! Owen Mackey with a block. The ball ricocheted off the ground.
And before the inbound play off the block, Coach Roberts wants a timeout. It's gonna be a 30. We'll take it with him. 30-second break. We'll be back with more third quarter action.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Off the inbound, Carter has it, gives it back to Roberts in the corner. Grant Carter now dribbles with the right hand, search dribble. Owen Mackey able to pick him back up, over to Cam Dyer. Bronson Barbin now with it, pump fakes, give it back to Dyer. Dyer swings it around to Carter. Roberts now in the corner, over to Barbin once again. Dixie really working up top. Lemke continues to sneak around down low, haven't found a look they like as Dyer works the high post. Roberts now controls. Owen Mackey up against him. Mackey now switches over to Barbin as the Warriors work their zone. Morrison help collapse. Carter's going to get an open look at three. Won't go. Lemke, big rebound. Inside, spins back to Carter. Dyer now with a decent look, and that's off the front of the rim. Barbin, a rebound. He goes back up strong, and he's going to be fouled.
That takes some cuts if you're Bronson Barbin to recognize you have 6'9" Lyman Simmons and 6'6" Bowen Hammer right behind you to go up strong with that one. Got the foul. That's what he wanted. Barbin shooting two.
And Barbin is that hustle guy. He has three-point ability. He always has, really, his whole high school career when it comes to basketball, but rebounding one of his specialties, 7.2 a game, and don't think those are all defensive. First free throw up and good. Free throws, as always, brought to you by Fabulous Freddy's, your favorite hometown full-service car wash in 20 minutes or less. They keep it clean inside and out, and they have two Southern Utah Fabulous Freddy's for you to visit. Barbin's second free throw goes down as well. He's now up to 5 on the night.
Rustin, for the first time, we have 6'9" of the Dixie Flyers, Kean Webb, who just checked in.
Yeah, before Webb checked into this game, Brecken Robinson was really the only Flyer off the bench. Webb now has to go up against Simmons, has that hand drop, they call the foul, and as much as Webb wants to argue it, anytime an official sees that hand come down a little tiny bit, it normally gives them enough to whistle. We get a good look at it right here on the replay, Jake.
Simmons is going to go up, and yep, it's the right hand of Webb coming down just a little, and yep, that's a foul.
And it's got to the point where you don't even have to have absurd amounts of contact. If they just see you lower that hand, it's almost enough. Simmons to the charity stripe. Slow motion, up and down with the first one for the big man.
Look at that, Russ, and look here. Our radio audience can't see this, so I'll describe it for you. To my right, a bunch of high school Warriors, all in white. They're holding it the W on this free throw.
Yeah, the student section had a big entrance prior to this game. They all left, went out in the hall, and then ran onto the floor when the team was being introduced. Simmons gets both to go, and that's his first points of the second half. Now 31-27, 4-point game, 3 minutes, 2 seconds on the Nets on Fire clock. Thanks to Nets on Fire for all they do. Check them out, netsonfire.org, for all their specials, building champions on and off the court. Barbin over to Grant Carter. His team down 4. Carter inside, hesitates with the left hand, hung for a little bit with the right, goes back to the left and finishes on the right side.
Oh, what a crash to the rim from Grant. 100 miles an hour, finishing with the right.
Carter now up to 14 points on the night. He's really paced all things for the Flyers. Robinson bumped by Morrison on the attack. Morrison gives it up to Hammer. Hammer has the ball poked away by Barbin. Robinson controls it, and now Dixie able to make some real noise. They can take the lead with a triple or tie it with anything inside the arc. Carter, right hand dribble, step back, left hand three, too strong. Webb nearly had the rebound, fights for it, tries to swat it back in, and I think Will Warner was able to get it to go off the leg of Webb.
Webb was the first one to get fingertips on it, didn't have the grip strength when the other hands came in, and a beautiful play from Warner.
Webb was there, Morrison was there, Warner just coming in, using that sneaky speed, sneaking underneath the trees and knocking it off the leg of Webb. Warner, left hand over to Mackey, Mackey to Morrison, Morrison to Warner. Warner off a Morrison screen, has Roberts against him. Dixie playing that man. Barbin having to shadow Hammer through multiple screens, able to pick him up. Hammer hesitates, and not enough room. Bronson Barbin's defense cannot go unnoticed right now. He's making Hammer work. Zach Call in the game, first time tonight. Sets a pick, gives it to Warner. Corner to Hammer. Hammer had to catch it high, not in a shooting motion. He'll have to regather. Hammer dribbles right to left, has to pull up, tough three, won't go. Dixie with the rebound, and I don't think Snow Canyon fans like anything about that offensive possession.
The Warriors have only scored 4 points in the last 5.5 minutes. Can you believe that?
And Dixie's defense making them work. The Warriors are known as the defensive team, but the Flyers not very far behind them. One of the best in Utah 4A. Carter does a little spin right around midcourt. Gives it over to Robinson. Robinson a crossover, trying to work against Morrison. Nothing there. Back to Carter, who's picked up by Mackey. Carter kind of search dribbled inside. Looked like he might have an option to cut inside to the rim. Decides to pull it back out. We're officially under a minute in the third. Roberts inside, scooping, acrobatic layup. Won't go. It's too strong, and now Mackey pushing the pace. Sidesteps right past Grant Carter. Nice move by Owen Mackey.
Yeah, Rustin, they call that the Euro step. The right, the left, and up with the right layup. Beautiful move from Owen.
And for Carter, Mackey was moving so fast, he maybe thought about a charge for a split second, never had time to even put himself into position. Carter now with it, over to Barbin. Clock is now officially under 30 seconds in the third. 33-29 is the score here at Snow Canyon High. The jungle, as they like to call it. Dixie on the attack. Roberts inside, breaks down the D, gives it to Barbin. Barbin left-hand layup over Call, up and in, and man, Barbin with a little flex on his way down the floor.
This 6'4" senior with a 200-pound body with the power move there inside.
8 seconds, 7 seconds. Snow Canyon will get the last shot. Mackey pulls up right here. Call fights for the rebound off the Mackey miss. And it'll stay with Snow Canyon due to Zach Call's hustle. And based on the first half, where Snow Canyon was cool, calm, and composed in all aspects of this ball game, right now, Dixie defense has them rattled a little bit. They're not getting the same rhythm. They're not getting the same looks, but they will have 3.5 seconds here to try to extend a 2-point lead before we go to the fourth quarter. Inbound to Call. Call swings it out to Warner. Warner already has one buzzer beater. Nearly had another. It rims out. No good. And it's 33-31 here on ESPN 97.7 and CEC TV. We're going to take a 45-second break and be back with the fourth quarter you won't want to miss.
Ernie's 2 Sinclair stations want to wish Region 10 athletes the best of luck this season. And stay tuned for the Ernie's Player of the Game. Don't forget to grab an Ernie's reward card that allows you to save on fuel and earn points for every dollar spent in store. Get your card today. Ernie's, St. George, Hurricane, Cedar, and in Beaver.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware.
See Hearst first this month for great deals on red hot buys at Hearst Ace Hardware. Make sure and get an Ace Rewards card for savings around the house, the yard, or the job site. Stop by Hearst General Store Ace Hardware, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Cedar City and St. George.
Hey, time out. I've got a loan for you. Scott Gibson here with Intercap Lending. Put me in the finance game to work for you. No matter what you're looking for, to build, buy, or refinance, I can help. So don't drop the ball and let me, with my 25 years experience, go to work for you. 435-619-8080.
Back at Snow Canyon High for fourth quarter action. Jake, Well, we were off air. You made a good point. This is not an unfamiliar situation for either of these teams.
Not at all. A couple weeks back, it was a tie ball game heading into the fourth between the Warriors and the Flyers. The Warriors pulled it out 45-40. We got to see what happens here.
Looks like we're going to go down to the wire once again. 2-point game. Dixie has the opportunity here with Dyer inside. Had the ball poked away, picked it up, swings it to Lemke. Lemke off a pick, had a good look. Simmons able to catch up. Simmons gathers himself and swats Lemke's shot away for his third block of the game. Morrison now inside. Swings it back to Warner up top, and Snow Canyon will start their offensive set. Simmons with 3, maybe 4 blocks unofficially on the night. He's been big, literally, as Anderson Foreman takes a 3. That one hard off the back iron. He's 0 of 2 from beyond the arc. Only had 2 coming into this game, 2 of 7 on the year, now 2 of 9. Dyer over to Barbin. Barbin fakes. His team only down 2. Carter over to Cam Dyer. Dyer's going to try to attack Anderson Foreman. Nearly stumbled, able to stop himself from traveling before he gives it back out to Roberts, who now gives it to Carter, who will set things up. Dyer with it now. Barbin. Roberts to Carter. Carter, open look at 3. In the face of 2 Warriors. Mackey and Morrison both broke down. Tried to get out there and it was too late. Carter buries it to give Dixie the lead.
Rustin, this might be the first Flyer lead of the day. What better scenario there than Grant Carter coming right step for step into a winning 3-point shot with the left hand.
Flyers on top for the first time since early in the first quarter. It has been a grind and they've made it happen. Morrison, beautiful find inside to Simmons. Dixie's defense collapsed. Simmons pulls back out. He goes from under the basket, fading backwards and hits the lay-in.
Man, that is tough to stop. Simmons is leaning back there with that shot to get it in the perfect angle off the glass. Tough to not foul.
On the other end, Barbin pump faked attack and used the left hand to kind of bump his defender off him. Official says that's an offensive foul going back to Snow Canyon. And for Lyman Simmons, that last bucket, that was his first field goal of the second half. He was coming off a 9-point first half. That was his first bucket of the second half. His other points were free throws. After forcing the turnover by a Bronson Barbin offensive foul, Warriors up 35-34 on the We Win injury loss scoreboard. Trying to extend that lead. Coming off a screen is Simmons. He tries to break down Lemke at the 3-point line. Between the legs, picks it up, fakes to Mackey. Thought about passing baseline to Warner, who was cutting. Warner pulls back out, and the ball ends up in the hands of Morrison. Morrison calls the play, tries to break down Dyer. That ball got high, no carry. Morrison nearly lost it. Dyer has it. Morrison was caught in the air and had to throw it away. And now Dixie on the move. Roberts trying to work off a Barbin screen. Goes the opposite direction, gets Warner in the air. Back to Barbin, pump fake, strong move inside, and he's fouled. And for Barbin, he really probably wishes he wasn't because Roberts was all alone in the corner.
You had Roberts alone in the left side of the court in the corner. You even had Grant Carter with some space at the top of the key. Could have been an assist either way you looked.
Quick Hersey's hardware update. 21-15, Desert Hills up at halftime over Hurricane. Crimson Cliffs was over Pineview at theirs. Brecken Robinson, deep 3. That won't go as Lemke fights for the rebound. Simmons had it, Lemke fought for it, and I think the official got Lemke for a reach-in.
Yeah, you don't blame the aggressiveness there from Kyle whatsoever, trying to get every last possession from his team, but maybe not the best shot in that scenario coming off the inbound from Brecken.
Warriors protecting this 1-point lead with the ball. Simmons has it. He's going to try to take it at Lemke. Will do so. Spins back with the right. That ball in and out. Toilet bowl for a second as Bowen Hammer tried to sneak in and steal a pass. Instead, he bumps Roberts, and Hammer's going to pick up a foul.
Last 4:49 of the ball game, 1-point lead for the Warriors. Every possession is going to count. You really don't want to make a mistake now.
And you can feel the tension in this gym. Snow Canyon student section, relatively quiet. And Dixie's as well. Well, Snow Canyon's was quiet. They now break into a flop chant. As Lemke is going to be fouled up top. He got it high. Warner tried to sneak in, poke it away. Lemke had it too high for Warner to actually impact it, and instead ends up grabbing Lemke's wrist.
Looks like we're going to get Bronson Barbin checking into the game. Not for another big man, but for Grant Carter.
Dixie's current lineup is Bronson Barbin, Jordan Roberts, Cam Dyer, Kyle Lemke and Brecken Robinson. The Warriors on the defensive end have Warner, Morrison, Hammer, Mackey, and Simmons. Trying to free Lemke down low with a couple off-ball screens. Lemke finally gets it. Working on that right block. He's going to try to face down Simmons. Spins, nothing there. Gives it back out to Brecken Robinson. Robinson drives, hesitates. Right-hand floater, won't go. Simmons controls the board.
So good attack there. You just want to hit it off the square and go off the backboard.
Mackey went between the legs, gave it to Simmons. Timeout on the floor for Snow Canyon and Coach Meacham. We're going to take it with him. Scott Gibson, Intercap Lending timeout. 45-second break, and we'll be back. 35-34, Snow Canyon on top.
When it comes to your child's teeth, Dr. Cody and his experienced staff at Johnson Pediatric Dentistry are game changers. So when it comes to checkups, a toothache, or any problem with your kid's teeth, call experienced veteran Dr. Cody Johnson at Johnson Pediatric Dentistry, 628-0511.
Right now is the time to improve and get ready for the upcoming basketball season. And the best facility with brand new floors and top-notch training is at Nets on Fire inside the Be More Complex. Get small group training with elite coaches. It's time to improve your game. Just visit netsonfire.org.
Simply Wisdom Teeth is all they do, and they always make it simple. With everyday pricing at just $899 for all 4 wisdom teeth removed, including sedation, they've got over 600 5-star Google reviews. For appointments, call 635-1243 or visit simplywisdomteeth.com.
Back in the jungle, and it's been a jungle tonight, living up to its namesake. 35-34 home team on top of the Dixie Flyers. Snow Canyon, there we go, that's the right pronunciation. Stole one at the hangar, trying to take care of business at home, but the Flyers giving them all they can handle. Mackey inside to Simmons. Simmons thought about a jumper against Lemke, instead tries to take him inside, lost the ball, has to give it to Morrison. Morrison's first three-point attempt of the night, off the right side of the rim. Won't go down, and Barbin with a big rebound. He now kicks to Roberts.
Rustin, one of my Campy World keys to the game was going to be, is it going to be Morrison? Is it going to be Warner? Who's that guy who's going to step up and hit a clutch shot late, and as Dyer crashes hard, hitting his hip on the ground, it'll get up all right.
They're going to give that foul to Walker Morrison, his third. Maybe got that left hand inside a little bit. Either way, Dyer went down to the floor. Enough for the official to blow his whistle. Off the inbound, Carter able to get past Mackey. Goes in against Mackey and Simmons, and as you could have predicted for anybody, it's swatted away out of bounds.
Carter with a great hesitation move to fool the help defender. Took the extra step, but Simmons was right there.
Well, he had to hold that ball away from Simmons, and as he did so, it allowed Mackey to recover and get the swat. Dixie still with the ball, down one, inbound to Grant Carter. Carter will try to go off a Lemke screen, trying to shake Mackey, can't do so, gives it to Barbin. Dyer, a nice little crossover, he's gonna pull up mid-range, and he got it to go. Dyer falling to the floor, hits the jumper for what's his first points of the night.
Cam Dyer going back between the legs, crossing over to the left, fading back, that could have been an and one.
And on the other end, Lemke staying in front of Simmons, forces Lyman to travel. The Flyers with the lead and the ball, 3 minutes, 2 seconds, still plenty of time. But that momentum is, Dixie's faring all right for themselves, considering that they held Snow Canyon to 6 points in the third quarter, and so far, only 2 points here in the fourth.
Wow, Burnsy, how often do we see Lyman travel? Almost never.
Barbin. Inside, had separation, Dyer all alone for three! Cam Dyer, a Team D triple! 5 points on the night, and they've come on consecutive possessions for Cam Dyer.
Dyer had 14 points on 2 3-pointers made last game. He's picking up right where he left off.
And it's Barbin getting inside, breaking the defense down, leading to the Dyer three. Dixie leads 39-35, 45-second timeout, and we'll be back with the last couple minutes.
Hey, it's Luke with Udine Associates at American Family Insurance. At Udine Associates, we love insurance so you don't have to. With a quick call, we can get you an instant quote with the right coverages. My team of licensed agents are ready to help you with better insurance from American Family. Give us a call at 435-251-9102.
there's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
Need an appliance or two? AWP's got you. Check out the remodeled expansive showroom, highlighting the Cafe series with colors like matte black, matte white, and modern glass. Make your kitchen stand out. Come see the local boys at AWP across the freeway from the Bloomington Walmart.
Back in the jungle, Snow Canyon with the ball, down 4. I don't have the official statistics in front of me, but I can only assume it's the largest lead for Dixie. The most Snow Canyons trailed, 4 points. It's not insurmountable, but the way the Warriors have been scoring here, it's a tough task. They scored 6 points in the third quarter, only 2 in the fourth. Dixie's defense getting it done. Not to mention Cam Dyer, who got the start, went scoreless in the first, scoreless in the second, scoreless in the third. He has now 5 points, a 2 and then a 3, back-to-back possessions. Hammer being chased by Dyer, got the 3 to go. Will they count the bucket?
Foul's going to be on the screen.
It's on the screen, exactly, but they're saying that Hammer's 3 should be counted with the foul.
Oh, and it shouldn't, because the foul with the screen was before the shot.
And that's Snow Canyon's letting the Boo Birds out. We've got some great replays here tonight from CEC-TV. If we can, I'd love to see another, and we'll get just that. They do such a good job. Here's Hammer. Dyer runs over Anderson Foreman. It was before the shot. Hammer dribbles with the right hand. Take away 3 free throws. And now a turnover. Anderson Foreman's pass was a little behind Warner, but he simply couldn't hang on to it. And Dixie student section, the bench, it's on their feet.
Tough to blame Will for that one. He's got so many things going through his head. The last thing he didn't forget about, or he forgot about, was the ball.
You're listening to Intermountain Sports Medicine play-by-play. 2 minutes, 3 seconds. Dixie with a 4-point lead and the ball. They haven't been in this position all game. They've fought to get here. Can the Flyers come into Snow Canyon and give the Warriors only their 2nd loss of the season? Coach Meacham screaming at his defense, telling him to step up. Dyer now motions for Roberts to come towards him, has to pick it up in a tough spot. Carter ends up with it, and he's going to be fouled over the shoulder by Owen Mackey.
Looked like Warrior Faithful wanted a travel there at some point in that sequence, but didn't get it.
This is going to create a one-on-one situation. We are now in the bonus. Anytime that Snow Canyon fouls, which they have to be aggressive right now, down by 4, Dixie will get free throws. And it's such a simple aspect of the game of basketball that sometimes we overlook. It really hurts the Warriors defensively, though, because they can't get those same stills. Carter misses the free throw. Rebound tipped back to Carter, and the Flyers still control. Dixie stepping up big when it matters most. Barbin, left hand, gets inside, back to Carter, and Dixie's going to be content right now to kind of milk some of this clock. Playing keep away. Roberts ends up with it in the corner. He's going to get inside to the paint, over to Dyer. That ball seemed to float forever. Dyer, tough pass to Barbin. Carter got it back inside, back to Lemke, and the ball movement right now for Dixie is superb. Bowen Hammer has to foul. Dixie moved that basketball around and just chewed, what did they chew, 30 seconds off the clock?
That was great. At first, I was confused why Lemke didn't pull the open mid-range look, but kind of a wise decision to force the Warriors to commit another foul.
And normally when you whip that ball around that much, it's typically a turnover. I'm just saying, Flyers, not in that situation. You talked about it, Jake, as the first free throw rolls around and is good from the fabulous Freddie Stripe for Barbin. You talked about it. Maybe Dixie's close wins against Pineview in double overtime and Desert Hills by 1 point. And those victories, I know it's not the result they wanted. They'll take a win, but they wanted to win by more. This may be paying big dividends right now. Winning in the clutch. They did it against teams not quite on their level. They're doing it against teams on their level tonight. Barbin gets both free throws.
And I got a feeling that will be the theme of our post-game show is Hammer's going to take a wild contested shot and air ball.
Lemke comes up with it. Carter has it off the Lemke pass. He's fouled by Warner, and Dixie Faithful on their feet. There's a certain atmosphere in the gym right now, and two different attitudes between both student sections and both benches.
Man, first quarter, we just look to our right, a ton of roars. To our left, not much. The fourth quarter, it's flipped.
Tough shot from Hammer as Carter missed the front end of the bonus earlier, won't do so that time. Carter on the season, a pretty reliable free throw shooter. He was 71% coming into this game.
Yeah, he's the guy you want at the line, arguably the best shooter, but can't hit the second.
Misses the second. Dyer falls to the floor. It's tipped out of bounds. I think Dyer going down kind of confused the Warriors. No one dove for that ball, and it stays with Dixie. Last off Snow Canyon.
Wow. One of those unexplainable sequences of events there.
And there's been a couple now. Carter, a couple free throws ago, had a free throw go hard off the back iron. Dixie got the offensive rebound. This time he misses a free throw. Ball goes out of bounds, stays with Dixie. Things going in favor of the Flyers right now. Timeout on the floor. We get a good look at it here. Dyer went down fighting with Warner, and it does look like it came off Warner's hands. It's a 30-second timeout. We're going to keep it right here just because we don't want to miss any part this into the ballgame. It's 42-35, 7-point game. Dixie largest lead of the night. Jake, if you're Snow Canyon, well, first you got to get a stop, right?
Yeah.
Or I mean, at least foul and hope they miss some free throws. And then what do you try to do on the other end? Bowen Hammer just stepped into a really tough-looking three. He's almost a near 50% three-point shooter. You're okay with that, but it may not have been the look they wanted.
What we were seeing a lot in the first half that has kind of vanished in the second half is these pull-up mid-range shots or even three-point shots from Owen Mackey. Mackey really just hasn't had the offensive opportunities in the second half.
The last minute and 4 seconds coming at you. We want to thank Simply Wisdom Teeth with over 600 5-star reviews. Always just $8.99. Wisdom Teeth's all they do. They're specialists. And right now the Flyers have been specialists on the defensive end, breaking down the Warriors. They now have the ball offensively, trying not to be forced into a turnover. Grant Carter trying to break down Mackey. Scoots around him. Mackey tried the reach around, didn't get it to go. And Roberts now has it. The ball's batted away. Barvin has it. Corner.
Warriors
Skip
need
pass.
a foul.
There's finally a foul. Will Warner gets Dyer in the corner, and they wasted a ton of time a couple possessions ago. They waste more of it here, at least 16 seconds, 45.7 on the clock.
That possession, it's obviously going to end in a foul. You might as well do it 12, 15 seconds earlier.
Cam Dyer at the line for Dixie. Looking at his free throw statistics on the year, he's been to the line 37 times. He's hit 24 of them. That is good for 65%. First free throw is up and down for Cam Dyer. We are in the double bonus now. 2 free throws automatically for any player in blue who steps up to the Fabulous Freddy's free throw line.
I can't believe I'm saying this. The Warriors have scored just 8 points since halftime.
Dyer gets them both. Points his hand in the air on his way back down the floor, and he has been big in the second half. Warriors need points, and they need them now. Down 9. Warner gets it inside. Tough angle, able to hit the layup, making it 37-44. Flyers on top. You got your points, but now time not on your side.
You would have loved that play a couple possessions ago, but now you're down 7, even off that last basket. I like the design. I like the backdoor cut. Mackey with a good find, but almost a little too late.
Mackey, a couple big assists here tonight. We're going to take a 45-second timeout with these guys on the floor. Be back with the last couple seconds. Back at Snow Canyon High, Barbin set to inbound. 44-37, Flyers on top, just trying to play keep away at the moment. Barbin, left-hand dribble, over to Grant Carter, back to Barbin. Barbin has to get it across half court, but before he can do so, Will Warner with the foul, and Barbin headed to the free throw line, trying to put a final nail in the coffin, so to speak.
All eyes will be on number 13, Bronson Barbin, but you know, Barbin is no stranger to pressure. Big time Region 10 quarterback for the Flyers. At the line, shooting a different kind of ball.
And for the season, Bronson Barbin steps up to the stripe this year as a 71% free throw shooter. He's attempted 28 of them, hit 20. You can go down the roster. There's really not a lot of Flyers who are porous from the line. I mean, Lemke's under 50%, but as a big and a young and growing big, you get that. Barbin's free throw, the veteran, up and through on the front end.
Lemke, only a sophomore. Cannot stress that enough.
And like Lyman Simmons out there on the floor for the Warriors, whose free throw percentage has improved every year, I expect to see the same from Lemke. But Barbin gets them both to go in this game, looking like it might be out of reach. Warriors need something quick. It's going to be a quick attack to Mackey, uncontested to the rim. And if you're Dixie, I mean, there's no easy way to say it. Snow Canyon needs 3 points right now, not 2.
Yes. So kind of a smart defensive possession to
Don't
say,
foul.
We'll let you take the layup all day because we're going to come right down the other end and drill both free throws.
Mackey on the attack. He's so good there. And watch Lemke. He just kind of backs out and says, I'm going to do a half contest. Just going to let it happen.
Rustin, that's enough air for a dunk. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, no, they gave him room.
But in that situation, smart move. Don't listen to me. Lay it up beautifully.
And it's easy for me to say, oh, well, you need a 3. I mean, points are points. You'll take 2, but it's 39-46. The clock continues to be against you. There's just not enough time. They need something a little extra at the moment. And right now, the chances are very, very high. They'll probably send Dixie back to the line, hoping to get a turnover on the inbound. Hamlin is now out there for the Warriors. Next to Lyman Simmons, Walker Morrison, Owen Mackey, and Bowen Hammer, who will guard Barbin on the inbound. Bowen Hammer, yes, he plays above the perimeter, but man, he's got some length. That wingspan trying to make something happen for Snow Canyon. Barbin able to get it into Lemke. Gets it back from Lemke, and before they can foul Lemke, they have to foul Barbin, who trots back down the floor to a spot he was just moments ago.
You know, it looks like the Warriors have kind of singled out Bronson Barbin as that guy they want to foul. But that's kind of unfortunate for them. Bronson can hit these.
I think they really wanted to foul Lemke there, but Lemke, as soon as he touched it, just pitched it back to Bronson Barbin. Smart heads-up play. Giving it to a guy who just made 2, and it'll stay at 2. Misses the front end on that one.
Warriors hoping for another miss. Very, very quick, deep three-point shot right after.
1 dribble, 2 dribble, 3 dribble, up and through for Barbin. Hits the second one. And now Snow Canyon down 47-39 on the We Win injury loss scoreboard. They need a bucket. Hammer hesitating up top, has to step into a tough pull-up 3, gets it to go down. That'll make it a 5-point ball game, and that's a big hit from Bowen Hammer.
Big time shot about 3 feet beyond that three-point line over here on this right side of the court on the wing. 5-point deficit now. I almost wanted Mackey to pull it just a little earlier into the game clock given the scenario, but you'll take the basket.
Yeah, you'll take the basket regardless. There is a Scott Gibson Intercap lending timeout on the floor. We're going to go ahead and take it with him. 30-second break, and we'll be back. 47-42, Flyers on top.
When it comes to your child's teeth, Dr. Cody and his experienced staff at Johnson Pediatric Dentistry are game changers. So when it comes to checkups, a toothache, or any problem with your kid's teeth, call experienced veteran Dr. Cody Johnson at Johnson Pediatric Dentistry, 628-0511.
Right now is the time to improve and get ready for the upcoming basketball season. And the best facility with brand new floors and top-notch training is at Nets on Fire inside the Be More Complex. Get small group training with elite coaches. It's time to improve your game. Just visit netsonfire.org.
Time is not a friend for the home team. Dixie will inbound. Warriors need a steal, won't get it. Dyer able to go high and collect that basketball. Now Cam Dyer with 10.1 seconds will head to the stripe. Warriors down 5. And Coach Roberts talking to the official and saying, hey, man, when we inbounded that, the clock was at 11. It's only at 10.1, a little slow when it comes to pushing the right buttons over there.
You know, I don't know if Cam Dyer's ever stepped foot onto the football field, but I saw the vertical. I saw the catch. I saw him watch his feet and make sure he didn't step out of bounds. Cam Dyer with a nice play to keep the game in hands of the Flyers.
I'll tell you what, the first time I got to call a Dixie game and see Cam Dyer, I can't remember who it was against, but one of their big men put up a little floater up top. Dyer flied, I don't know where he came from. He flew over from the corner, rose above the rim, head above the rim clearly, arms well above it, and sent that ball into the stands. They called it a goaltending.
Yeah.
It was on its way down. But from that moment, I was like, yeah, I don't want to shoot a basketball anywhere near number 11.
Yeah, anytime you have a basketball player come out with a Megan Trainor impression,
yeah,
I think you got to take a step back and just say, wow.
And Owen Mackey does the same thing on the other end for Snow Canyon. He has multiple blocks here tonight. It's fun to watch these two, no doubt about it. We have some fantastic athletes in Region 10 as Dyer at the fabulous Freddy's free throw line. First one up and down. He is perfect from the line so far tonight.
Right there now with that free throw. Warriors would need 2 threes to tie. It's not looking likely.
Dyer 3 of 3. Has that ball on the left side, gives it a spin, a dribble, another spin. And his fourth free throw up and down. He's now 4 of 4. And with 9 seconds, 8 seconds, Snow Canyon needs something quick. It looks all but over. Mackey gets it inside, goes up right hand, lays it in. Not much of a contest from Dyer. Clock continues to tick, and that does it. Game over. Dixie wins it here in the jungle. The Warriors stole one at the hangar. Dixie steals one at the jungle. And Region 10 just got a lot more interesting, Jake.
Holy cow, Rustin. Who's going to be the #1 seed after all this in the region, in the RBI? What's it all going to look like by the time we hit the 4A state playoffs? We don't know. What an excellent Region 10 matchup on a Friday night.
And Snow Canyon's advantage, I mean, this is only their second loss of the season, but for Dixie, they're only sitting at 4 prior to this point. We'll see how the RPI shakes out, but what a win for the Flyers on the road. Hostile environment, great environment here tonight at Snow Canyon High. One of the funnest region games of the year, but 49-44 is your final. Flyers take it away from the #1 seeded Snow Canyon Warriors. 2-minute break, and we're going to be back with our Johnson Pediatrics post-game show. We got all sorts of awards to give out, as well as a couple of Hersey's hardware updates coming your way. Don't go anywhere. Dixie stills it 49-44.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
For over a century, Dixie State University has been shaping the trailblazers of tomorrow by providing a culture of active learning, active life. With a paradigm of real-world experience mixed with cutting-edge technologies and rich traditions, we provide one of the most affordable educations in the West, set against the most stunning backdrop on the planet.
Where do you find the titans of classical music in St. George? Classical music on Radio St. George 100.3 FM. Where do you find the legends of jazz? Evenings on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Yeah, it's the Johnson Pediatrics post-game show. Thanks to Dr. Cody Johnson and his staff. They make your kids feel right at home every time. See why so many are choosing Johnson Pediatrics. Call them at 628-0511, 628-0511. Ask for the new patient special. You're on ESPN 97.7 CEC TV, and we witnessed one of the best games of the year in Region 10. The Flyers of Dixie and the Warriors of Snow Canyon, #1 and #2 in the RPI respectively, #1, #2 in Region 10 respectively, #1, #2 in Region 10 defense respectively. You can go down the list. We knew this was going to be a great game, and it absolutely was. Dixie gets it done, 49-44, Jake.
Rustin, how I want to start off this post-game show, congrats to the Flyers. They went absolutely full circle. You come back a couple of weeks ago over there in the hangar, and you lose at home. It was a tie ball game going into the fourth. Almost the same scenario in this one, and Dixie pulls out the win. They learned from those really close games they had with Desert Hills and Pineview and even Crimson Cliffs a couple weeks back. Rustin, this team, even though they kind of, played down to the level of their competition, all those close games, all those fourth quarters they had to come back, really gear them up for this one against the Warriors.
It's fantastic effort, and Dixie had reason to hang their head. It was a 10-point lead at halftime in favor of the Warriors, and you may say, well, what changed? What changed? And I'll tell you what changed right here. The third quarter, Snow Canyon scored 6 points in the third quarter. Lyman Simmons had 2 free throws. Owen Mackey had a layup. Bowen Hammer had a 2-point shot where his foot was on the line. All right, and then after that, the fourth quarter, Snow Canyon only put up total in that quarter, I think 11 points is what it was.
And most of that was in garbage time.
And most of that was in where Mackey was getting to the rim and finishing layups. If it wasn't for that, Dixie probably would have held them beneath 10. So the Flyers flip the script, and they become the defensive masterminds here against the #1 defensive team in 4A, and they get it done on that side. Here's the biggest part about all of it. I don't care about the quarter-by-quarter scoring. They forced all the pressure onto the Snow Canyon guards. It's what they did. They made Will Warner, Bowen Hammer, Walker Morrison, they made those guys beat them. Owen Mackey, because in the second half, Lyman Simmons had 2 free throws, and he had 1 bucket. And it wasn't even because he was just missing shots. He just wasn't really taking them. In the fourth quarter, he was almost non-existent to the offense because there was so much pressure on the perimeter offensive players.
The players went out and executed, but I got to think, whatever Tyler Roberts drew up there at halftime was just phenomenal. Another level, just completely shut down the Warriors. And here in high school hoops in Region 10, it doesn't matter what you see in one half. You got to stick around for the third and fourth quarter. Things can swing tremendously. But Rustin, I don't think we saw this being in a low-scoring game after the first quarter we had. We were going back and forth, early action. I think overall teams probably started out something like 7 of 8 from the field in the first couple of minutes. After that, the offense just vanished.
And the best teams in any sport are multifaceted when it comes to how they can win and in what ways they can win. If the threes aren't falling, they get it done on the defensive end. If they're not able to really find the open man, then they get in passing lanes. Offensive rebounds were big tonight. The hustle of Bronson Barbin cannot be overlooked. He was everywhere getting boards. Grant Carter getting inside the paint, making things happen. Multiple areas tonight that Dixie needs to look at and say, man, we did a good job there. Now, Snow Canyon, have they been dethroned? No, I don't think so. I mean, I think we've just witnessed the beautiful I won't even say beginning. These teams have been going at it for years. But in this year alone, I think these two teams might end up seeing each other very far down the road, Jake.
A state championship game. Both teams from St. George and Region 10 could very well happen. Rustin, one of the storylines that we'll talk about in here and kind of everyone's going to be thinking about after this game, the Warriors in the second half offensively not only took their foot off the gas pedal, they put that stuff in park, they shut off the keys, they got out the car. Rustin, they just really didn't have the same aggressiveness on offense in the second half. But shout out to the Flyers for making it tough.
Absolutely. Dixie gets the 49-44 win. Hang on, you don't want to miss these awards. Jake, I know your mind is working overtime right now. You're puzzling, you're thinking, scratching your head, seeing what you want to do for the Appliance Wholesalers Plus Playmaker Play of the Game and the Ernie's 2 Sinclair Player of the Game. Let's start with the Ernie's 2 Sinclair Player of the Game. And as always, brought to you by all the good folks over at Ernie's 2 Sinclair. They've always got you covered. They've had us covered for Region 10 Athletics. They got you covered. Fuel up and grab a snack like the famous chicken strips at Ernie's 2 Sinclair Station. And if you think they're too far, they're all over. St. George, Hurricane, Cedar, Beaver. If you want some world famous chicken strips, you can find them in most places in southern Utah. I'll just start real quick with Dixie. With Snow Canyon, the team on the losing side of things. They were paced overall, 14 points from Owen Mackey. He was aggressive tonight, had some big blocks. Lyman Simmons had 13, was absent in the second half, not really due to his own fault. The third highest was Bowen Hammer with 8. Will Warner had 5. Caleb Anderson Foreman with 4. Walker Morrison with 2. So you kind of go with the player of the game, probably Owen Mackey for consistent play throughout all 4 quarters type situation. On the flip side, Grant Carter had 18 tonight, got it done on the defensive end. Bronson Barban with 12. Cam Dyer with 9, all in the 4th quarter, mind you. Jordan Roberts had 6. Kyle Lemke only with 4. That's the biggest thing. Dixie won this game with Kyle Lemke scoring 4 points. Unofficial statistics, by the way, but 4 points off the hands of Lemke. I don't know who you got for your Ernie's 2 Sinclair player of the game.
I'm just still shocked, Rustin, because, I said this was going to be the slugfest of the St. George Stilts. And, there was probably a 90% chance in my head that one of those 2 players was going to take home this award for player of the game. Nope. We got to go to Grant Carter, who was absolutely terrific all 4 quarters. I think every single quarter he had a shot that kind of swung the momentum his way. Grant Carter, doesn't look like everybody else out there. He shoots with the left, kind of has a slightly different release, but boy, when he puts up a shot like that, watch out.
It's a high arcing release, and he's so good off a screen, one dribble, pull up. He's great at getting into the paint, using his body to shield and go with the left hand. He did it all on the offensive end and on the defensive end. Man, just like Bronson Barban tonight, he was everywhere. Grant Carter, your Ernie's 2 Sinclair player of the game, and that leaves us with the so special. I know you got something big here, Jake. I see you dancing around over there. You know what the Appliance Wholesalers Plus Playmaker Play of the Game is going to be. It's easier than you think to buy direct and save at Appliance Wholesalers Plus across the freeway from the Bloomington Walmart. GE Profile, GE Cafe, GE Monogram, Samsung Appliances. Go check them out if your kitchen needs a little bit of a remake or if you just want something new. AWP brings you the Playmaker Play of the Game all season long, and I know Jake's got a big one on tap.
Rustin, I'm going to kind of cheat this award just a little bit.
That's fine.
But it's the right call to do. It's a sequence. It's 2 plays from Cam Dyer. First, he had the play where he went between the legs, but it's going back the other direction than you're used to normally seeing. Takes a dribble with the left, pulls up in the paint for the mid-range, fading to his left, fading backward. I thought it could have been and one. Nothing but net. That shot really swung the quarter for the Flyers and started that comeback. Then later in that quarter, a few possessions later, Cam Dyer is in that same spot, kind of on that court, takes a couple steps back to the 3-point line in the right corner and drills it nothing but net. That is your sequence or play of the game.
And the best part about it all for Cam Dyer, he started this game, had nothing in the first half, turned the tide in the second half for this Flyers team. Grant Carter also had a big 3 that gave Dixie the lead, and they really never looked back after that. But it's Cam Dyer with a couple different plays making it happen for your Appliance Wholesalers Plus Playmaker Play of the Game. And that's all the awards we have to give out tonight. Your Holbrook Asphalt Big Score dessert over at Yogurtland. We didn't quite reach it here. 49-44 is the final. You got to reach 55 to get it done. And currently looking at our other Hersey's Hardware Region 10 updates, it's 44-43, Pineview on top. 3.9 seconds left. They have the ball. Jaden Jensen had 2 free throws to tie it, went 1 of 2. So that game still ongoing against Crimson Cliffs. Panthers looking for the upset. And then the last we saw on the Hurricane game, We'll give you an update on that as well. When we come back, we're going to take a 1-minute break, let our TV audience go, and come back and finish up the Johnson Pediatrics postgame with some Hersey's Hardware updates alongside a look ahead of what we got next week.